I read a poll today that said that Trump's approval rating is at an all-time low. Again, he's setting new records. And it said something that I've heard many times before and has always bugged me, but I never slowed down enough. There's so much happening. It's hard to slow down enough sometimes to catch things. Said that the approval rating is that low because of the economy, largely because of the economy and immigration policy. And I just wanted to say, I don't think that statement is accurate. I don't think the term is accurate. When you terrorize people who are brown, people who speak different languages, people who speak with accents, when you terrorize, when you engage in systematic violence, expulsion, my words crash against each other because it's really hard to put into words how deeply disturbing so many things are right now, but calling it policy is beyond imagining to me. That's not policy. That is, okay, so that is actually in the neighborhood of ethnic cleansing. We want the brown people out of our country. And so the Trump administration from early on has been using the term re-immigration, which is a soft term for ethnic cleansing. We only want white people. And by we, I do not mean me. Let's get that fucking clear. It's not immigration policy when you have masked men executing people in the street, tear gassing people at point blank range. Tear gas is not meant to be sprayed in people's faces. Just saying. And the firing the ICE and Customs and Border Patrol agents who have been there for a long time and who have the ones who are committed to doing a good job at their job. Those people have been, I mean, that's happening all over the place. It's not policy. I don't think that's the right word. That word is so insanely beige. It's a shade of beige. It is so not representative of what's going on. I've heard the same thing said about Palestine. Well, I don't agree with Israel's policies on Palestine. Motherfucker. Genocide is not a policy. Bombing people relentlessly every day, telling people, oh, come here, we'll give you medical supplies and food, and then we will slaughter you, is not a policy. It's a crime. So yeah, I just wanted to say, it's not policy. It's practice, it's actions, but I don't think it's policy. That's my feeling. I have lots of feelings. I get really shy about sharing out loud. So I would like to keep working on that. And I know that I think that my family and friends get tired of my passionate talking about politics. So maybe I should passionately talk about politics to whoever or who not ever is out there. And give myself, I'm working on it. I'm also, I've decided to get t-shirts, not this one, and bumper stickers that represent my views so that I've never worn t-shirts that have advertising. This one that I'm wearing is actually from a music festival, and that's not advertising to me, especially because it's a teeny tiny music festival, and well, it doesn't happen anymore, but even when it did, that doesn't feel like advertising to me. I've never worn advertising. I absolutely fucking detest the idea of wearing somebody's logo, somebody's Hilfiger, Nike. Like, nah. I'm not gonna do free advertising. I'm not gonna pay somebody to do advertising. A lot of my shopping's at the thrift store, so but in any event, even from the thrift store, I'm not going to advertise for those people. If they offered to pay me, I would not advertise for them. But I am ready to start wearing my views on my body and on my car. So in my yard currently has a yard sign that has the Statue of Liberty, and it says, "Rise up, America, democracy needs you." And coming to the car soon is a sticker that says "Si se puede," which is from Cesar Chavez, to say, yes, we can. It's like Rosie the Riveter. Yes, we can. Si se puede. So, speaking up, putting our voices out there. I sometimes obsessively, relentlessly call Republican senators. I don't have a Republican senator. I think my Democratic senators are corrupt. I think they're a part of the problem, but at least they're not as bad at the moment. I also call them. But I sometimes relentlessly call the Republican senators. I wait until after hours so that they can't just tell me that my voice doesn't count because I don't live in their district, in their state. That's one of the things I would like to change. Like, if you're not upholding my Constitution, my voice should count. So I leave messages, and the messages aren't, I mean, if they get through to the senators, that's fine. That's great. Absolutely. But even if I was one of their constituents, I don't know. If I was one of their constituents, the voice would matter more. But given that I'm not, I think what I hope for when I call and leave messages is to get through even the teeniest, tiniest bit to the person who is picking up the message. Sometimes I'm really fucking upset and I have to stop myself from cursing, because cursing at them is not going to do any good, I don't think. If it is, maybe I should start. But I think the calmer I am, the more likelihood there is that somebody will consider what I'm saying. So I leave messages sometimes. I also got a virtual fax number, and there aren't many of them. I think they're about half of the I think there are less than half of the Republican senators who have fax numbers that I can find. And so I fax. And the last week I've taken a break from that. There's something exhausting about it. Maybe because it's like screaming into the void. Yeah, so how can we make our voices heard? Or how can we put our voices out there? I've shared before about my my feeling about language, and like I just said, make our voices heard. I think that language is bogus. I don't believe that that language is accurate. I can't force something. I mean, okay. I can try and force the phone to fly across the room. I can use my hand, I can bling the phone, and yet if a sinkhole opens up underneath me right as I go to do that, I have failed at forcing. So I can create the conditions, I can try to create the conditions. I feel like I'm going down a rabbit hole that might not be very interesting. I have so many freaking thoughts and so many freaking beliefs, and views and ideas. I have so many ideas about democracy. So many freaking ideas about democracy. But I need to get back to work now. I just looked at the time on the video and it was 12:21, which is a nice, it's a nice number. It's the, as far as dates go, it's the winter solstice. Yeah. Okay, so that's all. I just wanted to share my view on policy and the difference between policy and terrorizing a country. And they're not just terrorizing the brown people. I mean, okay, murdered 2 white people in Minneapolis. They blinded a man. They sent a family to the hospital who were just driving by. Like, it's their intention is the whiteification of the country. There are how many white supremacists, Christian nationalists, white nationalists are in the administration. It's not an administration, it's a regime. Administrations are something that happens in democracies, and these people are ignoring democracy. How many white nationalists and Christian nationalists are there? But in any event, they're not just terrorizing the black and the brown people, the people with accents, the people who speak different languages. They're terrorizing anyone who's paying attention. It's fucking scary out there. My mom has dementia, and her dementia has she's graduated to the peaceful dementia. Her dementia has been so tormented. She's been watching her faculties and memory and abilities decline so steadily. and it's been really, really, really hard for her. But she's gotten to the point where she knows that she doesn't have these abilities, but she's not so freaked out by it anymore, which is really fucking nice. Oh my god, it's such a relief. This is a peaceful chapter for the moment. And her memory resets. Her short-term memory resets about every 2 minutes, which is shorter even than me when I'm smoking weed. Just saying. So I gave her a little summary of, she's a historian. She's my person I talk politics with or get on my soapbox. I miss that. I miss that. But because she's not there for that now, she's in a different chapter. But I did, when I was over there last, I went over and watched little bits and pieces of a movie, my favorite movie ever. Favorite movie in the whole fucking world, man. So I went over and watched little bits and pieces of that, and I brought up politics, and I let her know a little teeny tiny bit of what's happening in the country, and knowing that she wouldn't remember, she wouldn't retain it, so she doesn't have to feel as upset as the rest of us. And I mean, it was just the teeniest summary, and it was astounding. It's astounding what's happening. But even if you just scratch a little bit of the surface and give my mom, a 2-minute summary, what the fuck? And I mean, I've seen it going in this direction. Plenty of people say, I never expected this to happen. And I'm like, I didn't expect it to be this bad. But we have been watching this happen for my whole voting life. Like, voices don't get heard, democracy is bought and sold, the Supreme Court gets more and more packed with farther and farther extremes. Yeah, so when people say, I never saw this coming, like, I didn't know it would be this bad, but I did see this coming. I've been watching this coming since before I was old enough to vote. That'll be a topic for another time. And then when I finally started learning history was not long ago. When I was taught history in school, it was awful. It was awful. It was so poorly taught. The textbooks were so badly written. The whole, and besides, I was living through untold traumas and I don't know, untold horrors sounds a little too dramatic, but not much, not far off. So I couldn't focus on things that didn't have to do with life or death a lot of the time. So school and I we had an uncomfortable relationship. So learning history was not something that was in my purview. And where it really started for me was with Palestine. And I think it was about 7 or 8 months in after Israel started their daily assaults and bombings. And I was like, fuck, okay, I need to do a deep dive and learn more about what's going on and more about the histories. Fear and Loathing in the New Jerusalem is an excellent podcast. I didn't finish it. It's long. But he's so articulate, and I mean, everybody has their own perspective, so this is not the only right one, for sure. But that's a nice place. That was nice. Nice is the wrong word, but that was a good place. That was one of the good resources for learning history. And in any event, so when I was doing that dive and really understanding what's happening in Palestine, I heard and I felt that what we allow in Palestine is what will happen to us. Here we are, folks. I mean, yeah, it's nowhere near the level that's happening in Palestine yet. But yeah, these aren't policies. This is terrorism. And what do we do about it? We are doing it. I just want to say, we are. I'm sure there are plenty of people who aren't standing up, but the ones of us who are, our voices are being heard, which unfortunately means that the regime is getting more violent and less predictable and will continue to do so. Don't know how long that lasts. I'd really love a prediction. At some point, I heard somebody say, expect it to get worse until May of 2026. I don't know why they said May. I wasn't able to track that. And of course, I mean, any predictions are only guesses, but, it's like leaving an abusive relationship. And I don't know if you know about this. I hope you don't. But when you leave an abusive relationship is the most dangerous time. When you leave an abuser, they freak out. And they get very unpredictable. Very dangerous. We're just gonna go on another tangent. Another tangent. And I didn't even smoke any weed. It's been a while since last weekend. So I was getting out of a violent, abusive relationship, and the gearing up to leave was a slow and steady and incredibly careful process. I had packed a go bag, and fortunately, I'm messy enough that I was able to stash it at the bottom of a closet. I knew I was gonna need to get out. I waited until we had, how did that work? I waited until he had a car, because I needed him to be able to, he didn't have a car. And I needed him to be able to be self-sufficient. That was going to be hard enough to get away from him. But if he was stuck at home, then it was going to be real hard to get out from under that. So the violence got bad enough that I grabbed my go bag in the middle of the night. I parked in a church parking lot. I was in a very rural area, and that was acceptable. I didn't get in trouble for that. That's not acceptable in plenty of places. Really grateful that it was. So I parked there and slept there in the car. I mean, slept. Wasn't exactly sleep, but I was out of the house. And I didn't have somebody sitting up all night yelling at me that I was a piece of shit, when I was, in fact, the one who was supporting both of us, on a very low hourly wage. And I found a women's shelter. And I called them, and they had one bed left. And I said, well, you best save it for somebody who really needs it. And she said, oh no, that somebody's you. You are the somebody who really needs it. And if somebody else comes on, we will figure it out. We will find them a place. And I really appreciated that. I didn't think my situation was that bad. It's not bad enough to take the last room. But I did. I took that room. And one of the things that they had me do after getting some sleep, after taking a shower, taking a shower, getting sleep, was to take a lethality assessment. And a lethality assessment is answering questions about the person you're getting away from. Do they have weapons? Do they, I don't remember the questions. I did not answer all of them accurately because I didn't. And the woman who looked at my assessment, even though I had underrepresented some of the red flags, some of the dangers, she said, you're in a this is a very dangerous situation you're in. This is very dangerous. And I'm somebody who connects with people really well. I love connecting with people. And I couldn't connect, she wouldn't connect with me. And it was later the same day that I understood. She couldn't connect with people who were in that much danger all the time. You've got new women coming in all the time who are in so much danger. And it happens a lot that you try and get away and then you go back, and you try and get away and then you go back. I didn't do that. So that is all to say that when you're getting away is a very dangerous time. And that's where we are. And fucking sucks And we are standing up. We are making our voices heard. People are voting all over. I'm working on getting more. This one's hard. There are so many things that are incremental changes. I'm working on voting better with my dollars. So one of the things is use cash more, and like that takes money away from how much do the debit card places and the banks get. I already use a credit union. The big banks that I use them for no interest situations, and then I pay things off. I just paid one off yesterday. No interest. Thank you very much. Yeah, use cash more. Shop locally more. Which is hard. It takes work, and you need this one thing, and where do you find that one specific thing? Like, so incremental changes, and voting with our dollars, using our voices, yard signs, t-shirts, videos, trying not to talk about politics too much with every single person I interact with. Yeah. So those are some thoughts for the day, and we will get through this, and we will rebuild. And I'll say it again, and this is one of the things that I think people get tired of hearing, but I'm not done. Think about what you want. Think about what you want for our democracy. What do you want? I want voting rights to be a first-class right, a protected right, voting rights. I want that. I want education to be a priority like it's never been before. I don't know how to do that. Like, you've got states that, they have very small education budgets, and you've got states that have, are very economically disadvantaged. I don't know how it looks yet, but this is the daydreaming phase. So this is the horror phase, and this is the shock, and this is the outrage and grief and rage, and it's also the dreaming phase. Dream about what you want in our country, and what you want and what I want are not going to be the same things, and that's fine. We're not looking to agree on everything. That's not possible. So that's not necessary. Like, if voting is one of my big things, and I can't think of something that you might want that I am lukewarm about, that I don't care about, I don't know. In any event, you can want one thing and I can want one thing, and they be different, but there are going to be things that overlap, and there's going to be momentum that is built. And so dream, and then dream bigger, and then dream bigger, and keep doing it. Like, okay, dream a little bit, and you're like, okay, so voting rights, education, the environment, and community gardens. Ooh, I want that to be more. And renewable energy. Okay, I want big money out of the fossil fuel industry. And then I'm like, and just keep going. And daydreams are daydreams. They're not plans, they're not goals, they're not pressure. They're supposed to be enjoyable. They're fun. So dream, and dream big. And I feel like I might want to come back and do a video about that. Um, I have no idea if anybody is ever gonna watch and listen to this video, and if anybody does, if they'd still be around by this point. So, okay, there are plenty of things that I can pick up that I've started and started talking about here, but I'm gonna put dreaming. The dream of a new democracy. I'm gonna put that at the top of the list. So yeah, that's me for the day. I could keep talking. Oh my fucking god, I could keep talking. Voting. Oh my god. Okay. Stop. Stand up, take a little break. And then get a little more ability. I think I'm working on being more in my body. That's exciting. Yeah, I'm working on that. So I think what I'll do is go do some stretching, some movement, maybe put on some music, and then get back to work because there's a job that pays the bills. One of the job pays some of the bills, the other job pays other bills, and people wonder why I don't have more time to hang out. Well, you know, I choose to live alone. That's more expensive than like if I had roommates. I think sometimes it would be nice to have a more shared situation on a lot of levels, but I love living alone. I love it so much. And I don't live alone because Aria is my girl, my kitty. She's sleeping in the other room. So in any event, there's more bills, and I live in a really nice area. I was born about 22 miles from here, I'd say. And it's a nice area. And I've got family here, and it made sense to come back here. It made sense to come back here for me, and I got mom back here. There are lots of stories I could tell there. The several steps that it took to get mom back here. So, and I love it. I love living here for the most part. We don't get near enough winter, and we haven't gotten any winter. I mean, there's been some cold, and we've had about that much snow. Tangents. One tangent and another and another and another. I crack my ass up, man. I amuse myself. I find myself very interesting. You can maybe see why I live alone. I don't know. Maybe see why I like to live alone. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so to go do stuff in my body and then sit back down. It's Friday, and even though I have the 2 jobs, it's more like 1.5 jobs. I don't work 2 full-time jobs, thank fucking God. And I'm sorry to everyone who has to do that. That's another thing. I mean, that's a huge thing. Like, thinking of somebody who is working at the dollar store and not making enough money to live on, getting shit because they need benefits. And then the CEO is worth how much money? And is making money on the backs of people who, yeah, that's something that is one of the ingredients for where we are now. And I'm fucking tired of it. And I'm not the only one. So that's on my daydream list is, yeah. So, yeah. I'll do that. Oh, yeah, and what I was saying was, even though I have 1.5 jobs, I I get weekends off. There's always a lot to do over the weekend. There's the chores and there's with no winter this year, I'm still hoping that we're going to get some winter. Really, really, really hoping we're going to get some winter. But I haven't had to do, I think I've had to shovel snow like twice. Okay, so I guess total we've probably had that much snow. Maybe it's been that much. Because I had to shovel twice. I remember that. So I haven't had to shovel snow. I haven't had to water things. I haven't had to mow things, weed things. So as far as chores go, it's been a nice, easy season. But there's still so much to do. But at least I get weekends off. So for the weekend, okay, so we're in my birthday month. And so I'd like to do little things for myself over the course of my birthday month. And so tonight I'm going to the planetarium where they do laser shows. Sometimes they do, educational, interesting planetarium stuff where you get to look at the sky. And I do want to, the sky, the simulated sky, and learn about galaxies. And I do want to go to those. But tonight, what I'm doing is a laser show, Laser Prince. So the artist formerly known as Prince, set to, yeah, I'm so excited. I am so excited. And I am going to get really fucking baked in the parking lot before the show. Yeah. So I'm taking myself on a date tonight, and then I don't have any plans over the weekend. Oh, I'm good with that. I would like to go swimming. I don't have a plan, but I have a want. I want to go swimming. And I've already done some laundry. Bonus of working at home. Do a little laundry. So, yeah, wherever you are, anybody or nobody who hears this, doesn't matter if anybody listens to this or not. I still send out the same message. Wherever you are, whoever you are, let's do this. Si se puede. We got this. More humanity, more decency. It's when we're pushed to the edge sometimes is when we sometimes you have to knock shit down to rebuild. They are knocking the shit down, so we get to rebuild. Watch this, motherfuckers. All right, peace out.